Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Jensen, the Mom Ambassador Liaison here at Mom's Meet. Thank you all for joining us today for the So Delicious webinar, where you'll hear directly from representatives at So Delicious, including Hansel New, the Sustainability Manager, Brittany Horn, the Advocacy Marketing Manager, and Jennifer Alshire, Director of Research and Development. They'll be talking all about GMOs and why you should eliminate them from you and your family's diet. If you have any questions during the presentation, just be sure to type them into the chat window and we'll take some time at the end to answer all your questions. With that said, Brittany, please take it away.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to be doing another Mom's Meet and to share with you our coconut-based ice cream pints. Hansel is going to take over, and we are going to talk a little bit about a subject that's really near and dear to our hearts, and we know and hope that it's near and dear to yours as well. So Hansel, take it away.
Thanks, Brittany. Welcome, everyone. As Brittany mentioned, GMOs are a hot issue right now, and they have been a growing issue ever since they were commercially first rolled out in the mid-1990s. And we wanted to just introduce the subject by talking briefly, what are GMOs? GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. And just to be clear, these aren't the type of modifications that you can get by just traditional breeding methods that have, of course, been going on for thousands of years, to increase the productivity of the land and to increase certain disease-resistant traits of the plants, etc. This is a different type of modification where they're actually taking parts of genes from foreign organisms. In some cases, it's bacterium, such as the BT corn uses the Bacillus thuringiensis bacterium. There's a natural pesticide in that bacteria that they take from the bacterium itself, and they genetically transfer it to the genes of the corn plant itself, thus making the corn itself toxic for some of the most common worms and other bugs that will get into the cornfields and can cause a lot of damage. So this is a new technology, and as you can see here, these are experimental combinations of genes. And what makes GMO foods, plants, and the foods that come from them different is that, again, these types of changes cannot occur in nature with traditional crossbreeding. So it's a growing concern, and unfortunately, a lot of the foods that you see every day and that more than likely have consumed or are consuming do contain genetically modified foods or from genetically modified crops. For example, just some brief numbers to go to that point. 85% of the corn that's grown is genetically modified. That's the BT or the Roundup Ready corn. 88% of the cotton is also genetically modified. 91% approximately of soybeans are genetically modified in the U.S. And sugar beets, it's virtually all. It's about 95% of sugar beets are again Roundup Ready, so that they can spray Roundup, which is a common herbicide, over these fields, and the herbicide won't harm the fields. Unfortunately, with a lot of these, there are already unintended side effects from all the massive spraying of Roundup over these fields. You can see one picture up there that shows a soybean field that's been overrun with a new type of superweed. It's not new per se, it's been around for a long time, but it's really finding an opportunity to take over because it's been able to withstand the sprayings, and so it's becoming a very large problem in the Midwest and other high yield areas where they've been growing these GMO plants now for some time. So there are other issues, obviously, also with genetically modified organisms. You've got intellectual property issues. There are some great films out there now, whether it's Food Inc. or GMO OMG or others that talk to farmers and and other stakeholders and really talk about some of the issues around being able to own or patent life and the seeds specifically, so that the farmers can't save their seeds from year to year and actually sustainably grow their own crops that way. They now have to buy each year's seeds from one of these corporations that make these GMO seeds available, these GMO crops. And of course, there's other issues besides just super weeds. There's also some growing pest issues. Again, there's a growing tolerance for some pests because of the amount of spraying and the prevalence of these crops. There's also a lack of transparency in the process. There are just a very few multinationals that control this technology, and the government, specifically the FDA, is supposed to be regulating them, but they still have a lot of questions to answer, and the science is still questioning whether these are, in the long term, going to be good for the farmers and good for all of us as consumers of these products in the years going forward. There's also concerns with cross-pollination. You have, for instance, you can have a farmer that's growing BT corn right next to another farmer who isn't growing or has chosen not to grow BT corn. And the risk is, of course, is you have pollen drift from one field to the other. And then all of a sudden, if the farmer who hasn't been growing BT corn is found to have GMO sugar in his fields, then, well, he has to pay the royalties to the companies that make those, even though he didn't sign up for that program. So there are a lot of issues, and it is complex, and we'd like to see an open dialogue about it. And it's just amazing, again, how prevalent these foods are in our food supply. One study estimated that approximately 70% of the foods sold in our supermarkets contain some kind of genetically modified organisms, and it can come in so many different forms. I'm sure Jennifer here in our R&D department could be even more specific, but if you look at high fructose corn syrup and corn starches and soy protein isolate and sugar, when sugar is on an ingredient label and it doesn't specify that it's cane sugar, it could also be beet sugar, which is also, again, highly genetically modified. So the issues just go on and on as to how prevalent they really are. And of course, we as a brand and as a company are concerned about that, and we've been taking steps to really at least have a conversation about it at both the state and the national level. We're based here in the Eugene, Oregon area, and so Oregon being our home state, we supported Oregon's GMO labeling initiative last year. Unfortunately, that didn't pass, but now Washington, which is even population-wise the larger state than Oregon, currently has a GMO labeling initiative on their ballot, and we're putting our efforts behind that initiative also. And of course, there are several other states that are trying to do the same thing. So our approach is to work and try to influence those type of conversations and decisions where we're at, so starting in our home state and then working around surrounding states as well, with the end goal hopefully being that there can be a national conversation and the FDA can really take this on as one of their priorities to say, that consumers really do have a right to know what's in their food. We also recently held a screening here locally in the Eugene-Springfield area for one of the newest movies out there that really addresses this, called GMO OMG. And Brittany was actually there for the screening. So, Brittany, you want to tell us just a little bit about the reception that we had and what the feedback and the feel was in that group?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, Hansel. The crowd was unbelievably passionate about this topic, and they were so excited to be able to view this movie. It actually hasn't launched just yet. It'll be out in September, and we really hope all of you have the opportunity to see it because it's about a man who's on this journey trying to understand GMOs and understand whether or not it's something he wants to be consuming with for he and his family. So it's a really open and amazing film, and we actually held a panel discussion afterwards with some people who are really aware of what's going on in this landscape, and just the questions and answers that went back and forth were wonderful. And to Hansel's point, we want to provide an open dialogue about this. We really feel like the transparency needs to be there, and we're hoping to get there.
Yeah. Thanks for those insights, Brittany. So in the meantime, we're committed as a brand and as a company to being transparent. We want our consumers to know what products we're using, and we've made a commitment to be 100% GMO free. So all of our agricultural sources do not contain genetically modified organisms of any sort. And one of the great ways that we've gone about just verifying that, so it's not just our word, is we've been partnering with the NonGMO Project, and they've been a great group to work with. You can visit their website and find out all about what they do to verify that the foods that they stand behind are free of genetically modified organisms. And we're also proud to say that we're the #1 brand as far as the number of products that we have that are non-GMO Project verified. So we've gone through a lot of work. It's taken some time to get there. Not that we were using GMOs before, but just going through the certification process. It has been rigorous, and our R&D and our quality assurance teams have put a lot of time and effort into that also. But we feel it's important to be transparent and really open about where we stand on the issue, and we're committed to being GMO-free, regardless of what the labeling initiatives do at either the state or the national level. So we hope that brings a certain amount of peace of mind for our consumers also, knowing that we're a brand that is open about our position, and that all of our products are verified through the Non-GMO Project. So again, if you want more information on them, feel free to check out their website. We have some information on our website as well about what that means, and you can go as deep as you want, whether it's some of the testing that goes on with the PCR or the polymerase chain reaction to see and to really look down at the genetic level to see if there is any contamination of GMOs. So you can look at it at whatever level you're comfortable with, but there's a lot of information out there. Just wanted to talk just briefly about what the label means and what it stands for. When you see the Non-GMO Project verified label on our products or on other products, there's really more behind it than what first meets the eye. It really is a whole chain of command that goes all the way back to the specific crop varieties that are involved and moving forward from there. So we work with our suppliers and our supply chain to make sure that there are no GMO crop varieties being used, and either at the species level or at the farmer level, and that there's no cross-contamination going on as well. And then if there are potential questions with well-known crops such as soy, we still make some organic soy frozen desserts, for example. Then there's testing that goes on as well to verify that there has been no cross-contamination with GMO varieties. And then, of course, there's a paper trail, so it goes all the way back to the farms, so that when you buy a product that has that label, you can rest assured that there's been due diligence behind that, and that we really do care about the issue, and that we're taking steps to make sure that we stand for no genetically modified organisms in any of our food products. You might be asking yourselves, well, that's great, but what can I do? How can I get involved? How can I engage in the issue or get more informed? And we just encourage everybody to really learn more about the issue. The Non-GMO Project website has a lot of information to get you going. you can go to the National Labeling Effort, which is just the Just Label It campaign, and you can just Google that and it'll come right up. And they've got a lot of information about what they stand for and what they're trying to accomplish. And basically what they and we are saying is that, you know, there's a debate around, you know, whether these are good long-term and what the potential side effects and issues can be. But bottom line, we think that consumers have a right to know so that you and I and everybody can make that decision for ourselves. And right now, since there is no labeling requirement, it's just really hard to tell what is genetically modified or what comes from GMO crops and what doesn't. So it's about communication and transparency at the end of the day. With that, I will turn it over to Brittany. Thanks, everyone, for your attention.
Yeah, thanks so much, Hansel. Again, you know, it's something we're so passionate about, and speaking more broadly, you know, dairy-free is seeing a huge increase in people really trending towards going dairy-free, and you know, we really see it not as a trend, but a lifestyle shift. And of course, we have families who are managing food sensitivities or allergies, severe food allergies, and that may be some of you on the phone today. You know, this is something we're really passionate about, is really going through state-of-the-art allergen testing to be just like our GMO certification. We are so passionate about making sure that none of our foods are containing cross-contamination with other allergens. And if you have any questions about that later, we can answer that during the Q&A session. We also are seeing many people joining this dairy-free movement because of sustainability and animal rights. We have many vegans who are very passionate about our brand. And there are over 50 million people who are lactose intolerant, and that number is really growing. We also see people who are really passionate about going dairy-free, like JJ Virgin, who was the author of the Virgin Diet that came out recently. She's also about to release another book called the Virgin Diet Cookbook. And she really promotes eliminating dairy from your diet for gut health and even for skin health. She's seen a huge shift in how she feels, and she wants to share that with her consumers. So there's a 21-day challenge to give up dairy. And you know, she challenges people to give it up and just see how they feel afterwards. And then also there's a plant-strong diet, and for heart health, you're seeing an increase in this for people to give up any type of animal products for heart health, cardiovascular health, and then weight management as well. Dr. Oz has started to talk about dairy-free as well, and how it can decrease the calories that you're consuming in a day. So we feel really passionate about providing solutions to our consumers, and over the years we've produced products that are not just in one category. We want to provide solutions to all of our fans' dairy-free needs, from yogurt to ice creams, which you guys will be trying during this sampling program, to our milks, and we will continue to innovate. And Jennifer's really taking the lead on that. It's something that we, as a team, are really, we find it so important to be listening to our consumers and understanding what their difficulties are in living a dairy-free lifestyle, and we want to provide that solution for them. And it's not just about, drinking an almond milk, even though that's amazingly delicious, but it's about providing products that can go great with our recipes throughout the day, whether it's, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And if you haven't checked out our Facebook page, we have an awesome recipe tab there where you can find amazing recipes for any time of the day. And of course, our amazing dessert, which you guys will all have the opportunity to try. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the product that you guys are going to be sampling, and then we'll turn it over to some questions. So for this sampling program, we are wanting you all in your groups to sample our coconut milk frozen dessert pints. So we have over 20 different flavors, including our NSA line that is sweetened with monk fruit. one of our favorite is our cookie dough. It's the world's only gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free cookie dough ice cream. So if you see that at your local store, we really encourage you to pick it up. You guys won't be disappointed. All of our coconut beverages or coconut milk desserts are made with organic coconuts. They're rich in medium-chain fatty acids. Of course, they're dairy-free and soy-free. They're certified vegan and, of course, NonGMO Project verified. So with that said, we'd love to open it up for questions, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. That was such a great presentation. We have a lot of great questions coming in. So the first question we have is from a mom ambassador, just wanting to know, in your opinion, what do you think the most harmful thing about GMOs is?
The most harmful thing?
Yes.
That's a tough one. I'd say probably just both the plant and the pest resistance that we're starting to see at fairly alarming rates. You know, as you know, it's just kind of like the antibiotic issue. If you don't kill off absolutely everything, you're always going to have a remnant that survives, and then those will be the ones that reproduce. And when you're talking about rapid life cycles like a lot of these weeds have, and the prevalence that they have, and the potential for spreading that they have, that's really a concern. And you know, some of the science is still up in the air for GMO foods, but there is no question whether or not that farmers and the big agrochemical companies are now really having to respond to modify their chemicals and to modify the plant species themselves to try to get a handle on a lot of these super weeds that are starting to erupt. It really is a big concern.
Yeah, that does sound like a huge concern. Thanks for going into detail on that. We have a question from a mom ambassador named Vanessa, who's wondering, just as a consumer, how can she tell when she's grocery shopping, you know, which foods have GMOs in them? Is there any way to tell at all?
Well, I think looking at the ingredient decks, obviously looking for products that do have the NonGMO Project verified logo. There's a number of companies out there that are certifying their products that way. Obviously, if you're eating organic, that's a way to help to eliminate GMOs. But definitely, like, knowing those common foods that tend to be genetically modified, like soy and beet sugar, corn, and you know, when you see those ingredients, you know, doing some research on the companies and things like that. I mean, those main 4 ingredients that Hansel talked about earlier are the ones to keep an eye out for, and wherever you can, choosing to eat those foods organic is going to help to ensure that you're not getting GMOs.
And I think just to add to that, asking questions, you know, we really encourage people to communicate with brands. Just we love to hear questions on our Facebook page and all that, and so we would encourage you to communicate with other brands as well and ask those hard questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have another question coming in. The mom ambassador wondering if coconut or almond milk is just as good as natural milk in terms of nutrition. Like, how do they compare?
Both almond milk and coconut milk, they're not as high in protein as dairy milk, but they're still, you know, like a good source. We fortify ours with calcium and magnesium and vitamin D to help your body absorb the calcium better. So I think they are a good counterpart if you're looking to stay away from dairy.
And just to add to that as well, there is some confusion around calcium fortification. And one of the things is on a lot of products, you'll see that calcium is fortified really high. And we fortify for maximum calcium absorption. And I think Jen can add to this. It's, you can't absorb there's only a limit that you can absorb in a certain time frame. So it's important that you're aware of really how much your body is absorbing, so you really are getting the right amount of calcium during the day.
And just to add to what Brittany's saying is, We do use, we use a combination of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D because you need the magnesium to help. It's like the counterpart to calcium, and so you need both of those for your bones to be able to absorb the calcium, and that's really what it's in there for. And when you don't have the balance of calcium and magnesium, your bone isn't able to uptake the calcium, and so you're not really optimizing the absorption in your body.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for that. We're having a couple questions come in just about the whole organic GMO thing, and I know you just went over it, but just to double check, a lot of moms are just asking, if something is certified organic, does that mean it has no GMOs in it whatsoever?
Yeah, that's correct. According to the National Organic Program, which is the official standard for organic foods grown, that they're not allowed to use genetically modified varieties of any plants and call them organic. So organic does exclude GMO foods. However, under the organic standard, there is a 5%. You can claim 100% organic or certified organic and still have up to 5% non-organic foods in there. So there's still a slight possibility that you could have some GMOs, however unlikely with a certified organic product. But again, that's unlikely. But just so you're aware of the standards there, 95% of ingredients or above is certified organic according to the USDA National Organic Program. Jennifer, did you want to comment on that anymore?
Just that, there's also made with organic ingredients. So really if an ingredient, like if you see on the ingredient deck, organic coconut milk or organic soy milk, that soy milk is going to be GMO free. So it's again looking for those common ingredients that tend to be GMO and making sure you're choosing organic there. And that's the best way to ensure that you're not going to get GMOs.
And of course, looking for the NonGMO Project verified, you really can rest assured when you see that label that you are buying a product that it does not contain GMOs.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for going over that. We have a question from Sandra, who's wondering, what is your most popular ice cream flavor?
Ooh, most popular ice cream flavor. Like I said before, the gluten-free cookie dough is a hugely popular product, just because there aren't any out there that are gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free. But we all have our personal favorites. We encourage you to try a couple of different pints in your boxes that you'll receive. You'll receive several VIP coupons, so you can go out and try a variety of different pints so that you guys can get a feel for what type of flavors we do have.
Okay, great. And then we have a few mom ambassadors asking if you have any new products that are coming out, or is there anything you can share with us if you guys are coming out with anything new in the near future?
Well, we just launched our Culinary Milk, and you can check that out. More information on our Facebook page. It's an amazing product Jennifer and her team created, and it'll be available at Whole Foods. It's not in a can, which we feel is a really exciting, really one-of-a-kind product out there from an environmental standpoint. It's Hansel, do you want to touch on the environmental impacts of stitching the can?
Sure. It's both environmental and convenience. I mean, these are resealable, so it has a screw cap on it that you can just pour out what you need for your recipe, and then put the cap back on and store it in your fridge, and then pull it out next time you need it. So it's a great convenience. You don't have to wonder, well, what do I do with the rest of this product now that I've opened the can? And from an environmental perspective, it really does have a lower footprint, about half the energy usage for can, because it's made out of paper, which is of course a renewable material. So we're excited about it. It's a great product. It's got a really clean flavor for a lot of different applications. I actually had some in a banana blueberry smoothie this morning, so it was a good way to start my day.
Yeah, so keep looking out on our Facebook page for recipes that we'll start to release for those new products.
Okay, great. Thanks. We have a question from Denise, who's wondering if she can bake with coconut milk just like she would with regular milk.
Yes, absolutely. And we have amazing recipes on our Facebook tab that really will give you a feel for how you can cook with coconut milk versus, a dairy milk. So go check that out, and I think you'll be really, really happy with the results.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from April, who's wondering if you guys have any suggestions or if there's any way to get her local grocery store to start carrying more GMO-free foods.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of different things you can do as a consumer. Of course, it's your purchasing choices that can make an impact on the types of products that will be carried more. And then I think talking to your local grocery managers, I think making them aware of what you and your family and your friends are really feel are important can be a really impactful way to persuade the types of products that are coming into the grocery store. We find that if people go into grocery stores and start requesting our products, that they really will they'll listen, and they want to provide options for what their consumers want. So I think just making them aware of what you want is a first step.
Okay, great. We have a question about your allergen program. This mom ambassador says she was reading up about it on your website and reading that your products are very allergy friendly, and just wants to know more about the process and measures you guys take for this program or to make things more allergy friendly.
Sure. Well, it starts with working with our suppliers. So we work with all our suppliers to test and validate that their products, are allergen free, that there's no cross-contamination. And so we do some sample testing on ingredients coming in. When we produce, we have a dairy-free facility. So when we're producing, because we do run like coconut and almond, and we have, products that have peanut butter, we, segregate, and we're very cautious about the order and what we run in. So you're running, like vanilla before you run peanut butter, so that would be like something that you run at the end of the day, or, anything with nuts and stuff like that. So we have a sequence in which we produce. We are always testing the line, like if we run a soy product and then, we're going to come back and run a coconut product, we do a complete wash, and then we're testing the lines with allergen test kits that are specific to the allergens. And then we also are sample testing the finished products as well. So, at every step we're testing to ensure that the allergens that we expect to be in the product, if we're running coconut, that it's only containing coconut, or, if we have something that has peanut butter, that, that doesn't contaminate any other products. And so, we're always testing before and after to eliminate any cross-contamination and to ensure that our lines are clean, so that what you guys are seeing on the package is what you're getting. And those are the allergens that you would expect.
Okay, thank you so much for going into detail on that. We have a question from my mom ambassador, Fran, who wants to know how long can the coconut milk stay good for in the fridge once it's opened?
Our recommendation for, the best taste experience would be 7 to 10 days after you've opened it.
Okay, great. We have a question from a mom ambassador who's wondering if your, coconut milk, almond milk is just as healthy as normal dairy products. Her kids don't have allergies to it, but she's considering switching. So she just wants to make sure they get all the same benefits of regular milk.
Yeah, again, like we do fortify with calcium, and we fortify so that you have that calcium absorption with the magnesium and vitamin D. So you're getting those same nutrients from milk. And I think the thing about using like a plant-based source like coconut or almond is like sometimes in dairy milk, sometimes you can have like the hormones. So if you're, dairy milk can have those RSVP hormones. So, that's one of the things that you would avoid by using a plant-based like coconut or almond-based. And again, the only thing that you wouldn't get is protein, although in our almond milk, we do add protein for that nutrient value, so that it, we add pea and rice protein in our almond milk. so that you can have, you know, a milk substitute that does contain protein.
And just to add one point to that, a lot of times people aren't aware of how much sugar is in dairy milk, and it's a lot lower in our coconut and almond milks. So that's another huge benefit.
Sugar in the form of lactose.
Yeah.
In dairy milk.
Yeah, just naturally occurring.
Okay, great. We have a question from Angie, who's just wondering, you know, what sets your company apart from other companies?
Wow, that's kind of an open-ended question. Well, we really do try to be a company with a heart. Maybe I can speak a little bit to our internal programs. We have, for example, an alternative commuting program that encourages people to get to work by bike. We have an employee garden right here on our campus in Eugene Springfield area where right now tomatoes are in season, and we grew some non-GMO corn this year also, and lots of other tasty vegetables. We just try to be a solution provider for our consumers. So in that sense, you know, we're mission driven and we're passionate about it, and I think that's what really sets us apart. Anybody else want to comment on that?
Yeah, I'd just, you know, love to add that we listen to our consumers. If you just go on our Facebook page and you make a request, and we always take that into consideration. All of our requests run through R&D, and we really are trying to provide exactly what our consumers want. And again, you know, we focus on things, we put the effort and the time and energy into focusing on things like NonGMO Project Verified because we care so much about it. We're so passionate about issues like that.
Okay, great, thanks. We have a question from a mom ambassador wondering, you know, how long has your company been around, and what made you guys start producing a dairy-free product in the beginning?
Well, we have been around for now over 25 years, and so we've been here for a long time, and we really produce a dairy-free product to provide a solution for all these passion points that our consumers, the reason, you know, that they're coming to the dairy-free lifestyle, whether it's lactose intolerance or, you know, vegan lifestyle or kosher. There's so many different reasons why consumers come to the brand, and we just saw this passion, and we know that, I mean, it really started because of an allergen, you know, and we were passionate about providing that solution to our consumers so that they could be having delicious products and not feeling like they were having to give up something in their daily life.
Okay, great, thank you. So we have a few more questions coming in. Someone wants to know, who hasn't tried the ice cream yet, just wants to know if the coconut flavor is very overpowering, or is there just a slight taste, or does it depend on the flavor you get?
It does kind of just depend on the flavor. You know, I think there's like a hint of coconut. I wouldn't say you're not going to taste coconut if you're eating the coconut ice cream, but it's not overpowering if you were eating like an Almond Joy candy bar that's that sweet, super sweet, strong tropical coconut flavor, unless you're buying coconut. I mean, that would be the profile for that flavor. But I mean, like chocolate, you know, I think that would probably be one of the ones that probably has the least coconut flavor. And, you know, there's so many flavors that, you know, like mocha, we have a mocha almond fudge, and I don't think that's very coconutty. So I think it just is kind of flavor dependent.
And we really hear a lot of people who aren't fans of coconut say, oh my gosh, I tried this and it doesn't even taste like coconut milk. This is awesome. So you hear both sides of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing on that. We have a question from Stacey, who's wondering what the long-term effects of eating foods with GMO is. Is it linked to diseases or sicknesses?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's where the science is, I think, still out. There's studies that have come down on both sides of that issue, and our perspective is that we like to take the precautionary principle. In other words, you know, it's up to the burden of proof for those who are trying to introduce GMO foods to claim without any shadow of a doubt that those products are safe, rather than innocent until proven guilty, which is kind of been the FDA's approach. So you know, there's a growing amount of research on there that have been conducted, you know, placebo-controlled studies, double-blind, and again, what can you conclude from scientific? I think the science is still growing on that, and we're ways off from having a final authoritative say-so. So in the meantime, you know, our approach is, well, let's take the precautionary approach and limit and really take a close eye at what these foods are doing and what the long-term effects are. Keep in mind, they haven't been commercialized for that long, really. I mean, the first GMO foods on the market were, I believe, in the mid-1990s, and they've just skyrocketed in their popularity since then. So, you know, we don't really know what the long-term effects are. You know, there hasn't yet been a full generation of consumers who have been eating GMO foods. So I think there are a lot of questions out there, and those questions need to be addressed in a transparent manner by all parties.
Okay, great. So we have our last question for today, which is from Kim, who just wants to know generally, you know, what stores can she find this product in?
You can find our products all the way from your natural food stores like Whole Foods to your grocery stores like Safeway, Kroger, Stop and Shop. It's really pretty wide. You can also go to our store Locator. If you go to it's destinylocators.com/so delicious, and you can go, or you can find it through our website as well, and just search down your zip code and the product that you're looking for, and it should pop up some grocery stores in your area.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much. That was such a great presentation, and thanks for answering, you know, all of our Mom Ambassadors questions. Do you guys have any, you know, closing thoughts before we wrap up?
We just want to thank all of you for being with us today, and we're really excited for you to try our coconut milk frozen dessert. So enjoy.
Okay, great. Everyone who's attending, thank you so much for your time. And to the Mom Ambassador sampling So Delicious, we're really looking forward to your feedback. We're going to go ahead and log off. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.